Hey everyone, this is day 15, and we're going to talk about run-ons and comma splices. So run-ons and comma splices are two of the biggest mistakes that people make in writing. People often think of a run-on simply as a sentence that is too long. This is false. The length of a sentence has nothing to do with whether or not it's a run-on. A run-on is when we have two complete thoughts or simple sentences, independent clauses. Remember, those are all the same thing. Okay, so two complete thoughts joined together without proper punctuation. So, for example, if we were to say it rained, the ground was wet, and this is how we wrote it, this is a run-on. Okay, if we look below here, here's the breakdown. Okay, the ways to fix this: we have it rained, period. That's a thought. The ground was wet. The ground was wet. Period. That's a thought. Okay. So in order to fix the run-on, we could simply just write this out as two separate sentences, as we see in the top example there. We can also fix this by uniting the two separate thoughts with a comma conjunction like comma so or comma and. Or I could use a conjunctive adverb like it rained, therefore the ground was wet, and then remember to punctuate it with semicolon and then a comma. Okay, as for comma splices, they are simply when we try to join two complete thoughts with nothing more than a comma. Okay, so if I stick with the it rained, the ground was wet example, if I put just a comma in there, okay, that doesn't really fix the run on. Instead, now what we have is just a comma splice instead. So remember this, because this is something that can confuse people about comma splices. Remember this: it is okay to use just a comma if we are marking off an introductory phrase and a positive, or if we're punctuating an interrupter. Okay, so the examples below show things like this. Okay, in the valley by the mountain, my father built his cabin. Okay, in the valley by the mountain. That's an introductory phrase right here. It's a prepositional phrase starting the sentence. Okay, now what I want you to notice is if we look at this comma right here, okay, the key to understanding a comma splice is this: look at both sides of the comma, okay, the left side and the right side. If both sides could each be their own sentence, then it's a comma splice. However, if one of the sides doesn't work as a sentence, then the comma is probably okay. Okay, so let's look at this. If we look at the right side, my grandfather built his cabin. Well, that could be a sentence. But then we look at the left side, in the valley by the mountain. Nope, that doesn't work. That's not a complete thought. Okay, and again, we know it's not a complete thought because it's a prepositional phrase. Okay, so because we don't have a complete thought on both sides, we don't have a comma splice in this situation. Okay, so it's only a comma splice if the comma is between two complete thoughts, two independent clauses, two simple sentences. Okay, the second example is Mr. Simmons, a tall man, was a great basketball player. Here's an example of in a positive, where we have extra information about a subject or an object. So in this case, a tall man is extra information about Mr. Simmons, the subject. Okay, we don't need it; it's not essential to the sentence, and so we set it off with commas. And the third example down here shows an interrupter, where we're using a conjunctive adverb as an interrupter. Okay, so Lisa, however, prefers ice cream. Okay, like the appositive, we can set that off in commas and it's just fine. Okay, these are all okay because commas do not separate two different complete thoughts.